In this video, I'm going to show you how to fold the Undina Kusudama designed by Maria Sinayskaya. It requires 3 rectangles with a ratio of 2:5, but don't worry, I'll show you how to cut those from a square. I'll use 3 squares, each with a side length of 25 centimeters or 10 inches. And the cut rectangles then have a size of 12.5 centimeters by 5 centimeters or 5 inches by 2 inches. And the Kusudama will have a diameter of about 14 centimeters or 5 5/8 of an inch. So let's first cut those rectangles. I'm using 3 sheets, each of which will deliver 10 of those rectangles, so I'll have 3 different colors for the Kusudama. Of course you could use more colors, but in this video I'll also share a very easy method on how to get an even color distribution if you use just 3 colors. So, first we need to figure out where 1/5 of the length of this square is. For this, we're first going to pinch on the halfway mark on this one side, and then we're going to bend the paper as if we were creating a crease between this point and that point, but we're not actually going to add that crease. So just bend the paper in place. I like to add just a tiny pinch here in about the right angle, so that it's a bit easier to catch that point nicely. Then tilt the paper until you're basically forming a point down here. This looks good enough. And now when you have that, do not crease, but instead just mark where that corner lies. And when you have that small marking, you can then find it on here. Maybe make it into a bit of a pinch, and then add a crease that runs horizontally. And now you have 1/5. Now, before we continue with this sheet, let's repeat this distance on the other 2 sheets, but we can use this one as a template. So I can slide in the second square, which of course has to have the same side length, and then I can mark right here to add another horizontal crease at the same location, and of course also for the third sheet. Now if we look at this sheet, this now has a ratio of 1:5, so if we divide it in half, we actually get 2:5. And here we have 4:5. So if we divide this in half, we get a 2:5 sheet. But we want to have all of them the same size, so we're going to fold a division into 5 the whole way. So if we have 2:5 here, we're going to fold in half another time, and once more here, bringing edge to divide in half. Now we're going to fold in half in the other direction, and we will receive 10 rectangles, each with a ratio of 2:5. Now, you need to repeat this with the other 2 sheets, but before you cut, we want to save some time in the folding, so let's add some creases we need on all of the modules now. And basically what we need to do on each of these rectangles, we need to fold them in half in both directions. So if we add these creases now, we're actually going to save ourselves a bit of time, and especially when folding Kusudamas with 30 units, saving time is a very good idea. So we've now divided into 10, and here, instead of in half, we're also going to crease the quarters. Now the only thing you really have to be careful with is that you cut on the correct crease lines. So we want to cut along the halfway mark, and then we're always going to take the second crease and the fourth and the sixth and the eighth. So now we have 10 rectangles with a ratio of 2 by 5, and each of them have 2 creases added already. Repeat this process with the other 2 sheets too. Once you have your 30 rectangles cut, we can start folding. You will see that you have these 2 crease lines already, and now we're going to flip it over so that the white side is visible to get a colored module. We now want to fold this corner up so that this crease line right here is going to lie on the raw edge, and this raw edge is going to lie exactly on the intersection of these 2 crease lines. So bend the paper up, ensure that this edge meets the intersection, and this point right here meets the raw edge, like this. So you can see that this line exactly lies on that point, and this crease line right here is exactly aligned with that top raw edge. Now rotate and repeat. You can try and align the 2 orange edges just like that, but I actually prefer to unfold this and then repeat the step as before. I find it leads to slightly more precise results, but as you will see in just a little moment, these 2 lines will basically match up. Now we're going to fold down this corner so that the crease we create lines up with that raw edge, and here we're going to fold the corner up so that it again lines up with the raw edge below. Then we're going to fold in half along this parting, and it's going to happen quite naturally, but if not, just ensure that you're really catching those corners and adding a strong crease. Now you will see that all of these curves are very fluid. So next we're going to add a very, very small tiny pinch, and the smaller you make it, the more beautiful and this curve is going to be. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the module like this, and we're going to add a pinch right in this point by bringing this edge over to that edge, like this, and then really just pinch in the corner so that here you will have a soft curve, and you can try and get that curve in a little already. And then same on the other side, align edge with edge to pinch just in the corner. But that pinch is quite important so that the angle is right and assembly is easier. So now we have one module done, and these are going to be the 2 flaps, and they're going to be inserted into pockets right here and right there. But first, fold 30 modules. Once you folded all 30 modules, we can put it all together into this beautiful Kusudama. I'll show you a very easy method that Maria showed to me that ensures that each of the triangles has 3 different colors, and we just need to pay attention once, really. So also before I start assembling, I like to stack these modules up and just bend them once more to really get that curve going and start it, and we can strengthen it later on, but I find this helps. So I just go through all of them, bend them one more time so that we get a nice curvage here already. And we're going to start by putting together 5 modules. Let me take 2 here. And as I mentioned before, these are the flaps, and by opening up this fold, we can expose one of the pockets. So we can slide this in so that this small corner meets with that corner, and then we can close it up so that they don't come apart anymore. Now if we add a third module here, we'll get one of those triangles, but we want to form a point where 5 modules meet. So next I'll take one of these light modules and again open up to insert a pocket and then close up again. And then we can take the next module, pick whatever color you like, just not the light one of course, so that you don't have 2 modules of the same color next to each other. And now we have 4 modules, so we need to add one more, and there's really just one choice because we have orange and blue, so let's take another one of these light modules and open up to insert into the pocket, close it up again. If these ever fall apart, don't worry, just insert them again. And if you start to get really stressed, you can even put in some clips here to really enforce that valley fold stays in place, which locks the modules. And later on it's going to get more robust the more modules you add. Okay, so now we have 5 modules joined, and now we're going to start adding modules so that we get these triangles. And we always have one choice only because we have 2 colors already, so here we need to add an orange module. So for that, we can open this up, take this flap right here, and insert it into the pocket like this. And again, close it up nicely. And then we have this flap right here, and we're going to insert it into this pocket. Now you can go about this 2 ways, either by having the modules meet like this or like that. It looks slightly nicer if you insert it like this, but I find it quite a bit more difficult. What I usually do is actually I insert them like this so that it's just easier to insert, and once it's in there you can then pinch this together slightly and then take this and slide it over so that now you have the modules joined like this. Now we can move on to the next one, and again we only have one choice, it needs to be a blue one. And again we first insert in here and then in there. And by the way, if you want to, you can leave the modules like this, but as you can see there are small white sections which are slightly more visible if you leave them like this, and it's a more fluid feel if you flip them over. So again, I'm just taking both of them and bringing them to the other side. And then press together and continue with the other 3 triangles. Notice that sometimes differently colored modules will meet here, and that's absolutely fine. And again, you can flip them over to get that slightly nicer assembly right here. So now you have this ring that's formed around 5 modules, and you will see that it is slightly convex already. Now comes the very important part. You just need to make this step correctly so that you get a nice color distribution. And you will see that we have 2 blue modules and 2 white modules and 1 orange module. So next we need to add an orange module that is joined to this one. I find it a bit difficult to recognize it here just because of all the interlocking and the nice curves. So I prefer to flip this over so that you can see very clearly where the modules are. So here you can see blue and that of white and the orange. Now the rule is we want to add the color that is just present once in this 5 point. So we need to add an orange one. And seen from the front, we need to add it to the right, or here from the back, we need to add it to the left. So we'll have here off-white, then orange, then blue, and then we'll add another orange. And when you put this orange one in here, you then always only need to complete points where there is no other choice but one color. So here we'll see that we add that orange module. So you can see it's to the right, or even better from the back, you can see here it's to the left of this one. And then you will see that we have 1, 2, 3, 4 modules, so we need to add a 5th one, and there's really just one choice of color because we cannot choose the light one and we cannot choose the orange one. So let's add a blue one. And now again we have some triangles we need to complete, and there's always 2 colors there already, so we only have one choice of color. So let's complete those next. So now we have this. Now we can see here we have 5 modules, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that we want to join. And here we could add a light one or a blue one. So this is a spot where we will not continue, but instead we're going to try and find a place where there is no other choice. So for example here, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 modules, so we need to add a 5th one, and here, because we have orange and this off-white, we only have the choice of adding a blue. So let's add a blue one here. Now we again have triangles that we need to complete. So for example, here we have off-white and blue, so we need to add orange. And here we have blue and orange, so we need to add a light module. If these ever unfold, don't worry, just reconnect the modules and try to ensure that this valley fold is nice and strong. Now we can look at this spot right here. We have orange, white, so we need to add a 5th module that is blue. So now we can again add a white module here, but let me first reconnect this one. It seems to not quite want to stay in place. Sometimes happens that just one spot seems to keep unfolding. If that happens to you, just breathe and don't be stressed. It's just paper, and we want to enjoy the folding process and not get angry. Here we need to add an orange module. And then we can search for the next spot where it's clear what color we need to add. Just slowly rotate, try not to unfold any of the sections. As you can see here, we can connect these three to a triangle. As you go along, you will sometimes find these places that either came apart or just sufficiently many modules are in place already. And now I found my spot. We need to join 5 modules here, and because there's orange and off-white, I know I need to add blue. And when we have that 5 point, we can again add modules to complete the triangles. And here we can now see we have 1, 2, 3, 4 modules already, and this is the 5th one. We had a choice here, but it was determined by the other modules we added before deciding on this one. I find it easier to first complete this point of 5 modules and then reconnect that one which just came while I was trying to insert the module to join the 5 modules, like that. And now here we again need to add a blue one, just always finding a spot where just one color fits. Very easy. And all of it is predetermined just because of that one choice we made in the very beginning. I think it's a really neat method, and thank you so much to Maria, who shared this really nifty trick with me. And here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, so we need to add a 5th one, and it can only be this light color. Oh, unfold it, don't worry, just reinsert. When you're adding a new module, you have to kind of open that valley fold again, and then sometimes the other module slips out and you just simply reinsert it, not a problem. And then always remember to flip over those sections. You can do that when the complete assembly is done too, but I find it's a bit easier at this point and less frustrating if some of the modules undo themselves to just reinsert them versus when you have the whole thing put together and it's a bit harder to reattach these. So let's try this one again. Now let's see where we want to continue next. We have 2 modules here and it needs an orange one to complete this triangle. And then we can take a look here, 1, 2, 3, 4 modules, and the 5th one needs to be this off-white color. Here we have a 5 point that needs completing. And then we can see we need a white module here. And it completes this point of 5 modules. So let's first add it here, because I find that a little easier, because these tend to come apart more easily. And now we can complete the triangle. And here we can join these ones. There's only 1 module left, so most of these are already in there and just need to be joined at this point. And here you can see this is where the last module is missing. Again, I'm first going to complete this point of 5 modules. And then we can pull these out so that we can work with them nicely and join this triangle. And then we can take a look here. This is almost slipping apart. Let's just push it together. Maybe we can save it. And then we can complete this triangle right here. Or maybe let's first, well, insert here, but before we flip these over, I'm also going to complete this point of 5 right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The last one is the trickiest one usually, but it worked out fine. And then always squeeze these together nicely, and then let's do the final flips to get that nice fluid look. Here's another one. And then let's just go around and check whether we missed any. For example, here you can see we didn't interlock them. And here we again forgot. And that looks about right. So now your Undina Kusudama, designed by Maria Sinayskaya, is all done. I think it's a gorgeous model and I love Maria's work, and if you like this model too, do check out her website Origami.com and her Flickr stream, plus of course her gorgeous book Zen Origami. And if you enjoyed this video, do let me know by giving it a thumbs up, commenting below and sharing it with others. Plus, how about you try and fold another one of Maria's models next? I've put together a playlist for you. Or check out my playlist of modular origami by various designers. Finally, subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss my next videos. I hope to see you around, and as always, happy folding!